come for the 7th grade annual field trip, and this year we were supposed to be going to the National Zoo. I was so excited I turned the permission slip in with the $10 in the very next day. However, a week before the trip it got canceled. I didn't understand why until the teachers explained that not everyone was able to afford the $10 it took to cover the bus charges, and since they didn't have a required amount of students, the trip was canceled. I was disappointed and irate that the zoo trip was canceled and began to tell my friends so once class had ended. I mean, who couldn't afford $10? Before we could get to the lunchroom, we were stopped by an African American student that began yelling, "You white people think that you are so much better than us with your big houses and all that money, but guess what? You're not. So maybe you should start thinking about someone other than your greedy cracker selves." My friends and I were stunned to say the least. What had we done to him? White people weren't like that. He must have been one of those kids to complain about not having $10. It wasn't until I was much older that I was able to understand why that kid reacted that way towards us. I had been blinded by the comfortable lifestyle of growing up in a middle-class family. I had been given many options that other children hadn't. My parents were able to spend the money it took to play an instrument, to make sure I had new school clothes every year, and provide the money for any field trip I wanted to go on. While I didn't grow up getting every new iPhone that came out or designer brand clothes, I am more fortunate than others. Being raised in a middle-class life setting has taught me that I must work hard to become a good person and achieve my goals, that it is my responsibility to provide for my family and myself. I must work hard for my education, which has always been stressed as the only way to obtain success. I must work hard at my job in order to obtain the highly emphasized value of self-governance and self-sufficiency. Being raised with this mindset has given me a sense of self-entitlement to an education, a career, and a future. However, this has indirectly taught me to look down upon others of different social class. I view the lower class as lazy and unmotivated, along with the receivers of federal welfare to be parasitical. Vice versa, being middle class, I typically view the wealthier side of the spectrum to be selfish, unappreciative, and greedy. These views cause me to feel a sense of self-righteousness for my struggles and accomplishments of opportunities not everyone has been given, felt entitled to, or did not have to work hard for. They also sometimes obstruct my ability to sympathize with others, like the little boy in 7th grade whose parents weren't able to afford for his field trip. These are my beliefs and my values that have been passed down for generations, but it is ultimately I who must decide to adopt them or break tradition.